Hey guys, welcome back to Maple Mickey. Have you ever thought to yourself, is the magic really worth the trip?
To all who come to this happy place, welcome. Disneyland is your land. Here age relives fond memories of the past. And here youth may savor the challenge and promise of the future.
I'm Lisa.
I'm Lucas.
And we are here to help you put the magic back in your Disney vacation. But first, you have to decide if you want to take that Disney vacation.
Yeah, our story is a little bit crazy. Lisa grew up going to Disneyland, and so she was all in from a young age. She had that nostalgia.
I was hooked. I was an addict.
Absolutely hooked. So our first Disney trip, I mean, it was so expensive.
Okay,
it was such
but let
an
me
investment.
back up, because our first Disney trip, my mom called me and she had found this incredible deal with WestJet, which is a Canadian airline. And I had seen what we were getting back for our tax return, and I was like, man, we can make this work. And I thought that I was bringing you like the news of a lifetime when you got home from work. I was like, you will never believe what we can do. We can go to Disney, and you were not thrilled.
That was not the way I wanted to spend our money. And so for me, I went because I love this girl right here.
So
That's
sweet.
Why I went.
So
But I'm not gonna lie, I went begrudgingly.
Yeah. And you know what? That kind of is one of the things that we need to consider for people who maybe didn't grow up going to Disney. You don't have that nostalgia factor. And you look at all of the complexities and all of the cost of a Disney vacation and go, is it really worth the hype? Is it really worth the price tag? Is it really worth the effort for my family to get there? And that's a valid question to ask.
Now, this is going to be based on your value systems, of course. And so, our value is investing not just in our future, like financially, but it's also investing in experiences together as a family.
Yeah.
And so that first trip, I went in just not wanting to do it at all. I was not interested in that.
Let's be honest, you were probably actually hoping that it tanked.
Yes, I was. I was hoping that I would have a horrible time. I was really hoping that it was an oversell and an underdeliver, and I would never have to spend money going to this place again.
Spoiler alert, we have done many Disney vacations since that day. But again, if you are on the fence, we're not just telling you our story. We do want to give you some perspective on why, to us, we think that a Disney vacation is absolutely worth it. Disney is magical. I mean, it doesn't really matter where you go. The magic is alive and well at every Disney destination, from the parks to cruise line to Alani, to Adventures by Disney. There are so many different ways that you can experience Disney on a vacation. And so when you're thinking, like, with all the destinations in the world, why would I choose Disney? The first thing that you might want to think is, maybe my view of what a Disney vacation is too small. Like, if you're only thinking it's Disneyland or only thinking it's Disney World, there's so much more that you can do on a Disney vacation to see other parts of the world while still experiencing that magic and service that Disney is so famous for.
So we want to kind of start by kind of tapping back in years ago, the opening statement from Walt Disney himself, kind of casting vision for what the experience of Disney was supposed to be.
Yeah.
To all who come to this happy place, welcome. Disneyland is your land. Here age relives fond memories of the past, and here youth may savor the challenge and promise of the future. Disneyland is dedicated to the ideals, the dreams, and the hard facts that have created America, with the hope that it will be a source of joy and inspiration to all the world.
Well, I love that Walt Disney speech. It gives me all the feels every single time that I hear it. And the plaque, as you enter into Disneyland Park, being right there, it's just so special. And as we've mentioned, I grew up going to Disneyland. And so we've talked about it, that there's a little bit of an element of nostalgia, of wanting to recreate those feelings of happiness and just family togetherness in our own family. That is absolutely present in getting us to press click and book that trip.
Yeah, there's certain experiences that you just don't understand. Like for me, I didn't understand the power of the nostalgia, the power of the magic that was injected into her adolescence upbringing that caused her to just be in for life. And so there's something powerful about that. So if you have young kids and you're looking at, do we do this or not? There's something significant about an experience that takes you out. It's an experience in real time where you can suspend disbelief and really enter into something completely new experientially.
Yeah.
And it's a lot of fun.
And we've had the opportunity now to go back without our kids, just us. And there's still that nostalgia factor, even as you're making new memories, of remembering old memories of like, hey, do you remember when this happened? Or, just that feeling, not just nostalgia of memories of the past, but nostalgia of feeling childlike yourself. You're in a place where you are welcome to just play. You're just welcome to enjoy life and be full of delight and wonder. And that doesn't happen everywhere.
In fact, on that trip, how many times did we say, man, I wish the kids were here?
We did, a lot.
There was just so many experiences that we just missed all the memories of doing it together.
Yeah.
And so even going just the two of us, we thought a lot about our family because it was so kind of captured.
Yeah.
So many great experiences over the years.
Now, with the nostalgia also comes the embracing of new things. Like in Walt Disney's statement, he talks about age relives fond memories of the past, but youth savors the challenge and promise of the future. And while there's an element of nostalgia, there is always this element of new as well in Disney. Walt Disney himself said that the parks will never be complete because he always wanted them to continue to push into imagination and discovery. And so we've had so many opportunities over the years to go back and experience a new ride or a new show, and those are always really fun too.
Yeah, the Imagineers are working overtime to create magic, new experiences, and new completely immersive experiences. It's pretty wild how they set up their parks and how thoughtful they are about the details. The attention to detail just absolutely kind of blew my mind. And that's kind of a Disney philosophy.
Yeah.
It's a collection of little things that create a big wow.
Absolutely. And it is present everywhere you go. Like Disney World, it's absolutely present on Disney Cruise Line. All of these little things that immerse you in a story that is not the story you walked in with.
Yes.
And I think that's some of the most fun part. Like you mentioned, you can suspend disbelief and all of a sudden you're in this alien world in Pandora, or all of a sudden you're transported back into the Wild West frontier time and you actually believe you're there. Everything from horseshoe marks in the pavement to the sounds of wilderness that are being piped in around you to scents that are in the air. Disney does that better than anybody, this immersion storytelling.
Now, on the flip side, I won't lie, for myself, Disney can be a bit of an overwhelming trip, particularly if you're going to the parks. Disney Cruise, love it. Not overwhelming at all. If you're
you are their number one fan.
If you're looking for just a rest from a hectic life, I lead a hectic life, crazy life. We both do. And so Disney Cruise for me is like the pinnacle of rest, relaxation, all of it.
Yeah.
But the Disney parks can become a little overwhelming with the feeling of schedules and Genie Plus and when do we go and how do we optimize everything. And so we hope to kind of give you over the next little while some just kind of ideas and tricks and things that you can do to kind of help maybe alleviate some of that anxiety when it comes to going to the parks in particular.
Yeah. Absolutely, because it can feel kind of You're right, overwhelming, especially if you kind of set your park days at a holiday, then you're dealing with the crowds as well. But one thing that I do appreciate about that, and it can feel overwhelming on one hand, but it can feel so complete on the other, is that you enter this bubble when you go to Disney. It's just a little bit unlike any other vacation that you're gonna go on, particularly if you're going, again, on a Disney cruise, or if you're going to Disney World and you're staying on site. You kind of escape from your life for a little bit.
Yeah.
That all is in the background. In fact, if you go into some of the like DVC resorts, what they say is welcome home. Like, that becomes your secondary life, and here in your park time is your primary life for the next duration of your visit. And for those of us who do lead kind of hectic lives, we don't have a lot of downtime to just play.
Yeah, and so there's value. There's such value, whether it's a Disney cruise or a Disney parks or any other experience, in terms of taking a trip, changing your environment.
Yeah.
Sometimes change of environment can be as good as rest.
Absolutely.
Because your mind can disconnect from the world that you're used to, your routines, your habits, all of it, and you can kind of just take a breath. The UK has a national charity that helps struggling families. They did a study, and it's kind of interesting what came out of that.
49% of the people that they surveyed, they said the happiest memory that they had was a vacation that they were on with their family. And a third of those people could still vividly remember moments from their childhood from those family vacations as adults. Even more so, a quarter of them used those happy memories when they got to hard times in their own lives now as adults to kind of see them through. And so there's something that's really powerful, whether it's a Disney vacation or going camping, like whatever, there's something really powerful to bond your family together, to make sure that you make vacations a priority in your family. They're called an anchor point of happiness. Like, they kind of become those things that you gauge your life by. Those times before that trip or the times after that trip. And that can become a really powerful magnetic force to keep your family bonds healthy as everybody disperses. We're kind of getting into the empty nester stage, and that was really important to us, that we built those memories so that our kids want to come home when they don't have to anymore.
So is the magic worth the trip? Well, really, in some ways, that is almost a philosophical question. Based on your values, and whatever your situation is. If you have family with young kids, is investment into experience and creating anchor points of happiness worth the investment? These are things that you have to think about, talk about.
Absolutely.
But Disney parks, Disney trips, cruise, it really does kind of capture some beautiful memories for a family.
It does. And the nice thing about Disney is that, again, there is so much variety. You don't just have to go to the parks. If you need a restful vacation, you can do that. You can go to Alani. You can go on Disney Cruise Line. If you want to see the world in a way that you can only do it with Disney, Adventures by Disney is there. You can go to some really awesome destinations. And so you're not just locked into, being up at the crack of dawn and on your feet for 30,000 steps.
Because it can be a lot.
It can be a lot.
In your estimation, is the magic worth the trip?
I say yes.
Of course she does, because she's all in on this. She's all in.
I am all in. I think that going back to, you need to decide for your personal value system. For what we have said and decided as a couple and as a family that we value, yes, this totally lines up with them.
I think if you asked our two kids, and maybe along the way we'll have them join us, but they would say the same, that those anchor points of happiness are alive and well in their experience, in their adolescence. And I think the nostalgia is strong with them. So I think as a begrudging first timer going to Disney, And having gone multiple times now,
Yeah.
I would say that it's worth the trip. It's worth the investment. And I get it. It's getting more and more expensive. It's getting harder and harder to do.
It is.
It does mean at times where you maybe can't do it as often. So you got to kind of pull back and be strategic about saving and kind of creating that space. And I think the magic's worth the trip.
Yeah, so I have one question for you as we kind of close out this episode, but when do you plan your next trip? So the Disney blues is a real thing. Like, I get home from Disney and I am just itching to go back. But is it, you know, Disney's opening a new ride? Is it that you want to experience a new season with Disney? Is it a new whole land opening up, like Galaxy's Edge just opened up? What are those kinds of moments that you go, oh, now I need to go back and experience the magic? I'd love for you to put that in the comments. We would love to hear your thoughts on that.
We have plenty more to talk about, plenty more to come. And we're excited to take the journey with you, putting the magic back into your Disney vacation.